G'day, welcome back to Crypto Down Under for another Bitcoin update. It looks like we have left the range, these yellow lines. We have retraced, we are coming back down to test supports that were set in prior. So if we're calling this, let's call this support A or pivot A, pivot B, and then we had C up here. I would say not as sharp as these previous two pivots, but I would say that's still a pivot on this time frame. And we are lower than it, so we've changed the character. We're going back to an hourly chart downtrend. We've got lower highs as well. So 2 is lower than 1. And we'll see where this thing pulls up, see where it finds support. Now, one way of trying to establish where support might come in is the Fibonacci retracement tool. I haven't really discussed that in these Bitcoin updates videos, but let's put that on. So starting from the most extreme low pivot to the most extreme high pivot, you can see that the 0.5 and the 0.618. So the 0.5 fib retracement level would be 55,872. If it was to push deeper, 54,250, which would be roughly in the neighborhood of this pivot here, the second high from our uptrend that we have been in, which has now been basically changed. So we're now in a downtrend. Now, if we zoom out, let's delete this. So that's the hourly time frame. Let's go to the daily. Now this channel that I had drawn up yesterday, just jump back to the hourly first. That's been broken out of too. You can see that the price got rejected by trying to re-enter it after falling out of it, or trending sideways out of it. So I'm going to leave it there because it may still have influence on the price if the price is to come up at a later point, but at the moment it's been left behind. It's no longer in action, and it looks more like, after all, it was the rising wedge that caused this, or indicated that we were coming in for a retracement. So that being something like this moment where we popped out the top, it would have been a little bit easier if it stayed underneath, a bit more textbook like this perhaps, and then falling out. But we had this action here, which almost made it feel like it was an invalidated rising wedge. There is argument I can see for, I don't track head and shoulders patterns too much, but it's maybe a little bit of a stretch to call that a head and shoulders, but there would be some kind of neckline to this, which has been broken, no doubt. But anyway, so yeah, that's the channel. Let me go back out to the daily. Let's see what's happening on the daily chart. I'm going to hide some of these things just so we can see a little better. Get rid of that. So, not so much get rid of it, just hide it for now, because we don't need it right now. But yeah, we're still very much at the middle of the road. We're still sort of midway, coming down to the bottom half of this flag. So still, yeah, no real change on a higher time frame perspective. We're still very much in the same boat as we were for the previous month, really. Previous couple of months. So let me see. Let's see if there's any like super high time frame situations we need to be looking at as well. Let me hide some of these lines. Got key levels. So this, from this zooming out, you can see that's not even a parallel the way I have it drawn there. Let me just see if I was to copy that, yeah, it's not quite parallel. It's more of like a falling, broadening wedge. So let me just see if I can adjust this as well, because like I could encompass a little bit more of the price action if I just do that. And potentially this one use a bit of adjusting as well. Maybe it comes from this point and not that point, because it comes up into the shape, falls and makes the first low after hitting that all-time high. So perhaps that's a bit more accurate as to what's going on, something more like that. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of ways that different analysts have traced out what's happening here. But either way, yes, we are in a downtrend still. Now, it's not a steep downtrend. Have you noticed that there's differences in severity, like of how steep something is? This is quite shallow. You know, if you compare it with something like a proper bear market sell-off like this, look how steep that is. That's very steep. This may turn into that. You know, if we get a nasty loss of support, it could be very violent and fast to go down. Could be. I'm not suggesting it will be. It's just it could be. You know, that these kind of things are possible and they do happen in markets. All right, let's go to let's hide these. Just use this chart. Now, from a macro perspective, let's go to the weekly and let's get a fib retracement tool and see if there's any hints at what may happen if we do like travel down further. Just want to compare these on the log scale. So from a logarithmic standpoint, like we've only come in to test the 236 fib level. But on the linear, it's the 382. We could still afford to fall, you know, down to the 0.5, which is $44,626 before, you know, calling it macro, you know, like the cycle's, you know, over or has changed. But yeah, we're sort of at the middle of the road here. We're not really, I don't think we've spelt doom yet. We're still very much nearby of the all-time high. We're not that far away, to be honest. But yeah, from here, like, look, yeah, we have had that breakdown there. Yeah, just looking at this fib level, there's nothing really noteworthy at the moment. We haven't come up to any major Fibonacci levels. You could argue that we've lost the 236 and we're struggling to get back up on top of it just in the last few hours. But let me delete that now. Let's go back to the trends that we had drawn in. There we are. Now this dotted line, this comes from this pivot here. I suppose I should probably have another one over here too. Let's get that set in. So, and then a third line would be down here, which is another low that we have to be aware of and conscious of. the lowest low since the all-time high. That line there. All right. Well, we're heading into the Monday session. This is rounding out the Sunday candle. It's been a pretty bleak Sunday, to say the least. Saturday was a bit of a nothing burger. Nothing much happened there. This was kind of the hint right here. That candle, the hanging man. You have this beautiful bullish engulfing green candle, and then you get a hanging man straight after it. It's a little bit sobering. Hanging mans can indicate, the turn of a trend. So, but yeah, let's keep our eyes on this price action over the coming days, and we'll see if it finds support off one of these white dotted lines, which are previous pivots. These three pivots, this one, and this one, which may provide support, or it could be a Fibonacci level, which I mentioned earlier, which provides the support, and obviously we could completely lose the range, or this, this falling broadening wedge. Many possibilities, but we have to be here to sort of track what is more likely. So at this point, yeah, look, I think let's just see how the stock market handles the Monday session, maybe even into the Tuesday, before we sort of write Bitcoin off here for this little uptick that we have had. We have to see, yeah, what kind of influence we get from outside. Anyway, this video has gone on a lot longer than I thought. 12 minutes now. Thanks again for tuning into another stream, another Bitcoin update, and I'll catch you on the next one.